Nasty with nextlevelguitar.com, and today what we're going to talk about is using our pentatonics, of course, in a blues kind of format, but we want to put the gas pedal down. We want to accelerate these things a little bit, get a little flashy, right? Break out of the box. Talk about how we can use these things in not only a blues context, but I bet you if you play these things fast enough, some of these would work out pretty good in a heavy metal context too. So we're going to be versatile today with our licks, and we're going to talk about doing some different things, all based in D minor pentatonic. And I'll just outline the scale shape to start, and then we'll dive right on in with some of these licks. Before I forget, you see that link below in the YouTube text box. Go ahead and click on that link if you want a lesson available from nextlevelguitar.com that is not available on YouTube, along with a coinciding ebook, free. You get all kinds of great information in that ebook. It is well worth it. So you see that link below, go ahead and click on that YouTube text box. So the first shape, of course, in your pentatonic scale, playing in position 1, looks just like this. So I use some different fingers, so let me stay consistent with my fingering. All right, we're also gonna focus on the second position as well, so we can get some pretty aggressive bends in there. So let's address that in D minor. I'm gonna start from my F note. And I think we'll stick for there for right now. We don't need to travel too far across the fretboard. We'll kind of linger in about our 10th position. So the first lick that I wanna talk about sounds just like this. Cool lick, kind of flashy, right? Got some picking and hammer-ons and pull-offs going on there. Let's break it down. What I'm doing is I'm picking my first two notes, and then I'm doing a hammer-on and pull-off, and then ending it on that C note. Now, let's talk about the picking of this, right? I've got slightly what would seem to be a palm-muted motion with my right hand. I'm not out too far. I want to stay nice and controlled because playing anything accelerated on the guitar requires small motion, so you want to make sure that you're right there and concise on it. I start with an upstroke on this lick. That's slightly different. I go up, down, up, so I can finish right on that downstroke and be really aggressive with my resolving note. So slowly, I gotta say, it's so important to start slow with these things, right? When we're on our little musical journey, we don't want to miss anything. We want to take our time and make sure we get these things down right. And that's the most important thing. It's even though this lesson is centered around some more accelerated playing, it's all about being accurate. That's the most important thing. And articulating your ideas cleanly. And that way you really come out of the process more so than just copying a lick. That's very, very important. So if I go, I want evenness in those pull-offs. You don't want to rush any of those notes. It's one of those licks that when you get it going fast, it doesn't really sound like it's as simple conceptually as it is. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Now, where else can I do this? Any other group of strings on my pentatonic. I'm going to focus on this now. Slightly different fingering. Of course, I've got my A note going to my C, picking it the exact same way, fingering it slightly different in the sense that I'm resolving to a G note with my middle finger. And it's a variation to a lot of licks that we've heard before. Like we hear this all the time. And that's a great lick all on its own. I'm doing an upstroke, hammer-on pull-off, and a downstroke. I'm only picking two notes in that case. But listen to the difference. Gets kind of aggressive in there, right? We can get those two starting notes picked, and we get those clean. It sounds really cool. So where else can I do this? Throughout the whole scale shape. That's what's really cool. So how can we vary that? I'm going to start on my 4th string, which is my C note in this case, with my index finger. And I'm going to do this. Add a little bit to it. You hear those two resolving notes at the end. Well, I can go to the next string down in my scale, do the same thing, and that's a cool lick. Slowly it sounds like this. That's a fun lick, and it's accelerated enough to still have that bluesy style and an element of class, but we're moving around a little bit faster. We're not just playing slow all the time. When you play melodically, you build up to these big moments in your music, and you want to be able to have that nice explosion, and sometimes these licks work out perfect for that in the pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scale is the most common scale people know, so we want to make sure that we're really comfortable with it. Again, what we started out with was this. Giving it a little bend there at the end. Then we said, hey, we can use that anywhere within our scale shape, so I'm going to do it on the second string. Very British blues rock sounding to me, that one. So then now we're going to carry it throughout our scale shape. I'm starting on the fourth string just because I'm more comfortable right now in this particular moment for it, but I'm going to go like this. Remember, anything can be broken down to be an exercise, anything can be made to be a lick. So if I go, shoot, sometimes that's enough. Right? Nice little double stop. And that one we hear all the time. Nice and aggressive, it's gritty. Look at how I'm putting vibrato on two strings there, pulling down essentially off of my F and my A. It's kind of dissonant with the overtones. Now, I'm using this part, you can see the lines on my finger. You can see where it's at, where it's getting on the fleshy part of my hand there. Now, I'm going to pull off from my D to my C on the fourth string and resolve on A on the fifth. Kind of rake into that. And get grandiose with your right hand. Nice and flashy. But what do we got so far? We got a cool little ending there to a lick idea. We've got this. What else can we do? There's always more. So I'm going to now incorporate that second pentatonic shape that we were talking about. Let's get into that. So again, the shape looks like this. First thing that comes into my mind, and I got to do it, I got to just yank on one string and hold on for dear life. Now, this is a cool blues lick that incorporates a two-string bend. So I'm going to turn my body a little forward so you can see what's really going on here. As I bend this third finger up, I'm hitting this with an upstroke. Hear those harmonic overtones in there that are crazy. I've got the second string tucking right underneath my third finger. You can actually see that the third string tucks in there as well. But boy, when you work up to a moment like that and you get into a bend that's huge like that, sounds kind of cool. You know, it's haunting, really. But again, aggressive and being a little bit flashy. So the lick I want to do that incorporates that second pentatonic shape is this. So, similar to the very first lick that we did, not picked as much, more hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'm starting with an upstroke, hitting that C, getting that pinky all the way to my G on the 15th fret, high E string. Again, you want to take your time and hear the notes really even between everyone. Something really important. Notice my first finger never left its position. It stayed there the whole time. Now, if you've learned some of these and you're at home and you're like, well, how can I make this mine? How can I put it into my own playing? What I often would do is I would learn a lick and maybe I would tab it out in pencil because that's how we used to do it. And I would say, hey, that's lick idea number 1. And then I would say, hey, this is lick idea number 2. So on and so forth. You get a nice amount of licks in your vocabulary and you could combine them in every single direction. And that's a good way for you to get these ideas into your vocabulary. So let's say this is lick number 1. This is lick number 2. This is lick number 3. And this is going to be number 4. So I can go in any possible order. And just put these things together. Take notes away, add notes to them, make it yours, and just start with the idea. That's the most important thing. I do want to throw in one more lick, and I think this is kind of cool. Really a nice way to add to what we previously did. I'm using the last form of the pentatonic scale in this case. This would be your 5th shape. It looks like this. And I'm using that to travel into my first position. I'm going alternate picking here. I'm going C to D. And of course I've got F to G, sliding up to A there with my 3rd finger. Sliding takes a bit of practice to hold that note nice and firm and hear it resonate throughout. But it's a really cool way to travel. And that's my lick. Resolving on that D. Get that double stop in there. Okay, so we've got a bunch of cool ideas now. I'm gonna fire this jam track up and I'm gonna jam them out. I hope you enjoyed some of these ideas. A little bit more aggressive, still very classic because we're thinking about our blues approach, trying to get as much feeling in there as we can, but yet accelerated for those excited moments in our playing. So I'm gonna kick this back up again, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I love doing this stuff. Now, if I could cue it up, we'd be even better. All right.